There we go. That's a real clap. Welcome there, heroes, to another episode of, actually a special episode of No Comics for Old Men. You know, from time to time here at the shop we get customers coming in and bring us collections. I recently bought a small collection from someone who had a colorist who worked for DC, some of his personal stuff. I want to go through some of that stuff and show it to you today and show you what cool stuff you can pick up sometimes when you're buying estate sales and collections. So this is from the estate of Bob LaRousse, and he was a colorist for DC for many years. He originally worked on Boy's Life, and he was a commercial cartoonist. And then he moved over to DC mid to late 70s, and then I think he spent well over 20 years there until he retired. And he did a lot of the major books, worked a lot with Neil Adams. So in his, he had picked up an acetate. This is from Camelot 3000. This is a part of the printing process. A very cool thing to have. Then double-sized issue number 100. This is the cover. This is sort of like a print proof where the colorist would go through and check to make sure all the colors were correct on the print run. That's basically what their job was. They would go through the actually entire, not just the cover, but the entire comic, make sure that the red, like in Robin's costume, was the red same throughout the entire book. The blacks and blues used, same thing, like all the costumes, to make sure that they were the same, and if there was any corrections to be made. Some of the other cool stuff is like, this is a lot 4. This is from Batman 530. It was a glow-in-the-dark cover. As you can see at the bottom, it's section 1 NS001002. Really cool. And then on the other side, so it's the entire pre-run. But you see the color key on the side there, makes it you know, a really interesting piece. And then I guess he had done some work for Animaniacs, which was Warner Brothers, DC Comics, same. And we got his autograph down here at the bottom, color by Bob LaRousse. So this is one of the cell working for one of the cells. This is not actually a cell. This is probably, they were working out what colors they were going to use on the costumes. So really cool item. They've reprinted Action Comics several times. This is a print proof of the 1983 reprint of Action Comics number 1. And it folds out. You want to be very careful not to tear it. So it has several of the pages, and they're all attached as a proof. Oh, now Emmet's got to refold it. This could be fun. Oh, no, hey, oh! I could never fold a map when I was younger. That was pretty lucky. Now, it has been pressed a little bit off center and stuff. I've never sold anything like these things. This is the first time I've gotten anything this cool, or of this manner. I've had some other cool stuff, but not like this. So I've never sold it. I've seen some different kind of pricing. I'm not sure what the value is. So some of it will be going up on eBay with some test pricing to see what kind of interest we get. But yeah, I mean, as a comic nerd, man, I'm just totally nerded out about the cool stuff. This is Suicide Squad, Amanda Waller and Batman on the cover, and it's a black and white. I don't know if you can pick it up on the video, but it is definitely not just a regular Xerox. It has like heavy ink, and it's a thicker paper stock. It is and it just has some information on the side and on the top. Very hard to see like probably the edition, but really cool stuff. Actually had some thank you notes, sadly not signed by who thanked him, but you know, thanking him for doing his work. Here's another one, color key at the top from a Milestone comic. which is owned by DC. DC Hardware, number 7, Section 1, Avenue C, UPC. Color chrome across the top. You know, and then came with quite a few of them. So we got an awful lot. We got some of his old, one of his old, almost like a calling card, not actually like a, maybe what he would send out. But so this is from when he worked for Johnson & Cushing. This is some of his personal art with his contact information from back probably in the 60s or maybe even the 50s. So he went to the Phoenix Art School after World War II. He was drafted into the Army, and on the GI Bill he went to the Phoenix Art School, and he was a very talented artist. Did some really amazing work in advertising, and then like I said, the Johnson & Cushing was the company that had Boys Life. They created cartoons for them. Then he moved on to DC. This kind of blew me away. This is New Gods, which was done by Jack Kirby, and this is issue number 5, and it is the whole comic except for the cover, where they were going through and checking the color. This is a proof, printing proof, and it has all the information on the side, and it's a really cool item. It's going to be very hard for me to, I'm probably going to keep this for a while, just because I'm kind of nerded out about it. Kind of love it a lot. Let's see if and one other thing that I thought was really cool, I don't know how many they make of these, if each colorist gets one or each colorist gets as many as they want, but this is DC Comics color chart on the GraphScan printer. So the printing presses that they used to make their comics, these were the colors, and these were the keys for the colors for each one. So if they wanted a particular yellow, they would write it Y4, and that means that's the color, the yellow that you would get on the comic. We have some really cool examples of some big reprints that he was working on, that he was changing it over from the hand colored over to the print color, and some of his own hand colored stuff. So you know, when you're out there buying collections and stuff, you know, this is just another thing to look out for is print proofs. They're pretty limited. There wasn't a lot of colorists, and when they were done with them, you've got to figure how many comics came out a month over how many years, how many were saved, and how many just got thrown away. And then you know, each colorist only worked on particular comics. So there's some really interesting stuff to be had out there. If you have any questions, put them in the bottom. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our Facebook page, Haven for Heroes, and keep reading comics.